Would they really do it? Would the federal government really put someone into prison over a piece of plastic? Yeah, let's talk about that. Hey guys, as always, a big kujoot and a Jew to each of y'all. I want to open with the idea of the piece of plastic. You won't believe it. I'm not being dramatic. It's honest to goodness ridiculous. I'm going to go through several other stories, and then at the end, I'm going to have a good one for you. I want to hear what you have to say about any of these that y'all have an opinion on. I'm going to get you up to date. It's sort of a 5-pack for you today, so buckle up. Here we go. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends over at CMMG. I talk to you about them every week. Well, sometimes I'm in love with the Resolute, but this week I am in love with the Banshee. Y'all know that. But today, I just want to mention this. I am proud to represent them, and I mean that because they love America, they love freedom, and they love the Second Amendment, and to me, that is important. Pick yours out. Pick out your favorite color. Have yourself a good time when you head over to cmmg.you know what. To each of y'all, thank you for every thumbs up. That matters to me big time. So thank you. All right, let's head down to Orlando, Florida. This is unbelievable. Several of y'all sent this to me. I'm not going through the whole story. You can find it super easy to find. I don't know how to say his name. Yunis, Y-U-N-I-S. His middle name is Isaac. I can say that. And last name, I don't know how to say it. M-E-J-I-A. So I'm going to call him Isaac M. Isaac M. even opens with this article from Amaland. Was a good guy. He used to be a 911 dispatcher. Well, at some point, the FBI sent a confidential human resource, an informant, to him, and they went shooting together, and the FBI, and this is unbelievable, the terrorism task force, literally the FBI's terrorism task force goes in, they send a guy in with a phone and a camera to document this guy Isaac, middle name Isaac's Scorpion. He has a CZ Scorpion. Now, if you're not into the whole nuances like the ATF is, I'm not exaggerating here. All it is this, the stock, the part on the rear that touches Isaac's body, it's one piece of plastic if it's a rifle, a short barrel rifle. If it's another piece, it's a pistol. That's it. That is literally the only difference. He had, without paying for a $200 tax stamp, he had a short barreled rifle. And he's now in federal prison for 21 months. And I read that, and I'm like, no, there's no way. They literally are not sending in the terrorism task force over they did. They did, and Isaac M. is behind prison. He is behind bars in prison, federal prison, and there's no more to it. I'm not skewing the story. There's no more to it. It doesn't change the rate of fire. It doesn't change what it fires. It doesn't change anything. All it is which type or what shape of the piece of plastic that touches his shoulder. That's the whole story. Kind of gets worse. Of course they do. The U.S. Attorney's Office of the Middle District of Florida has even released a press release week before last. St. Cloud, that's down in Orlando. St. Cloud man sentenced to 21 months in prison for possessing an SBR. It's unbelievable. It is really unbelievable. And I read this and I'm like, would they really do that? Like over a piece of plastic? I think it's a tragedy. I think it's ridiculous. And I think it is a nice litmus test of where we're at today in the good old US of A. Land of the free? Not so much. Next. All right, this one was just yesterday. The House has passed an active shooter alert system bill. We'll see 43 Republicans voted for it. So the idea is this, expanding the government. They're going to be creating a new position in the Department of Justice known as the National Coordinator for Active Shooter Alert Communications Network, acting in concert with FEMA. So it's a way to expand the government, of course, and then have a way to communicate if there's an active shooter. Why communicate if the police aren't even going to go in and help? But what do I know? Next, California Governor Newsom has signed a new bill allowing, this is important, always follow the money. The money is really where the kapow is at right now. Governor Newsom signed a bill yesterday allowing victims of gun violence to sue gun manufacturers. That is a big bleeping deal. I don't know if anybody's going to countersue on that or chase that one. I am not sure. Now, Next, speaking of where we're at for 2022, I think this one's super interesting, and we're always dealing with big pharma and big tech, as well as the mafia in DC. There's all these major players. Big tech is working in concert with local police departments. Amazon's, their Ring doorbell, Bing Bong, has now provided doorbell footage this year to police 11 times so far this year without consent of the owner. That's important, and that is a really important thing. I'm not at all against bad guys and bad girls, the two of them out there, getting their just desserts. I had a $400 package stolen off my porch back at Christmas time. Never saw it again, so that was that. But for today, what's important is just to pay attention to. Amazon's Ring has provided doorbell footage to police without the owner's consent 11 times just this year already, and we're barely halfway through this year. Big tech. Next, several of y'all have mentioned this to me, and there is a town right outside of Chicago. It's like 20-something miles from Chicago, but it's part of the Chicago metro area. And they are looking at doing an assault weapons ban. So I'll have links to that down below. And then also, they're just talking about expanding in Illinois. Remember this, people are always talking about Chicago. Chicago's only a little part of Illinois. A lot of Illinois is very free. And I think that's noteworthy. But they're talking about assault weapons ban, and people are jumping up and down about that. And finally, some good news. Women now make up the largest group of new gun owners. I think last year was people of color. This year it's women. Kind of interesting. It's been a big, big push. While I was at Thunder Ranch 2 weeks ago, Clint repeatedly reminded the classes, the two that I took, that 8 million new shooters last year, none of which had training, almost none of which. You don't have to hit me. Well, actually, my aunt had training. Most of those 8 million just bought one box of ammo and bought one Roodly Toodly and put it in the drawer somewhere. And I think it's interesting. It's also a little scary. It's a little frightening. And part of me goes, got to pump those numbers up. A lot going on. A lot to stop and go, where are we at in 2022? What a bleeping mess. Glad you were here. I'll see y'all tomorrow on Spicy Friday. Bye.